Hey everybody, it's Bus, continuing our playthrough of the Path of Champions. Today, we're going to be doing the 1.5-star quest, the Prodigal Explorer. We're going to be doing battle up against Ezreal with our 1-star Teemo. And so if you're not familiar with Teemo, at 1 star, when allies attack, you plant 5 poison puff caps on random cards in the enemy's deck. We start off our Teemo with the Lost Chapter, so ideally we can play Teemo on turn 1, then immediately get that 3 spell mana for a nice little reversal of fortunes, and then we're able to cast off our high-powered spells starting on turn 2, whether or not that is either generated from the Conchologist or if that is something from the Sump Fumes or the Stress Defense. Have a lot of ways to use that mana right from the get-go. And so, that's what we'll be doing battle with today. Let's see if we can get in here, get the battle started, go up against Ezreal. The game within the game. There we go. We got ourselves in. Let's get to battle. All right, the map's coming up. Karma in the middle, Ezreal at the end. Let's see what happens. Okay, and so I'm usually pretty happy with this over-prepared. Create a random equipment in hand. It costs 2 less. It gives us a nice boost to our Teemo in the early game, and then it provides us some value as we trade off our units throughout the game. And so that's the one we'll be going for. I could see some build around potential with counterfeit copies, counterfeit production down here to the right, if we want to really go after puff cap peddlers, and then try and just cast a spell every turn of the game and try and take advantage of the 0 cost thing. But that sounds like kind of out there, kind of far. It sounds like it could be a deck, but it's going to be pretty tough to get together. And so let's go with the over prepared, see what we can do. And so all players start with the Hextech Observatory. That says when you play your first spell of the turn, you get the mana refunded back for it. It's going to work quite nicely with our Teemo Conchologist combos. We'll just cycle everything away and look for Teemo. Didn't find him, but we have at least a curve starting on turn 2 with the Puff Cap Peddler, or the Puff Cap Pup. We want to load him up, give him the equipment. I don't think so. I'm a little bit more interested in perhaps getting the Puff Cap Peddler to stick around on the board. There's like just a big difference between having 3 health and having 4 in terms of survivability. And the Puff Cap Pup is decent enough at protecting itself, right? It has quick attack, but the Puff Cap Peddler has an issue to where he just tends to be a landmark. And so we'll try to be a little bit more protective of him. This block, I don't like it. We probably should have just used the Puff Cap Pup as the means to... now the Puff Cap Pup has 1 health and we can get an attack in, but we look like geniuses with the death of the death of our unit for the Mystic Shot. All right, well, let's load them up with Puff Caps. I'm going to go ahead and play a Mushroom Cloud, see if we can't end this game on opponent's draw step. So you got 26 Puff Caps in, 16 cards. Got him. Nailed it. He didn't squeeze him. He didn't squeeze him tight enough. If you're not familiar with how to combat the Puff Caps coming at you, you just got to squeeze them butt cheeks. You clinch them real hard, and that's how you fight off the RNG. Just a solid clinch will get you right through it. So what are we going to do here? The Green Glade Duo does give us a nice elusive offensive to build around. And then the assembly line is fairly cheap if we're getting that 3 mana discount on it, right? If we play Teemo on 1, we can assembly line on turn 3. But I think we'll go with the duo. Just try and assemble Team Elusive here. See if we can't get a nice aggressive deck put together. And so, continuing on with that theme, Ahri turns up. Beautiful. So we have the Dancing Droplet, which is an elusive. Ahri, which wants to do recalls, and then she eventually gets elusive along with the Homecoming. And so we can also come up with some combos for Ahri. Like if we get a Conchologist on the board, we can send it back to our hand and then replay it with Ahri. So we'll have to keep that in the back of our mind. I don't intend on fully building around Ahri. I still intend to build around Teemo, but we have some cool options there. Okay, so with this pathing, we have a item chest at the top, always good. Healer, where we like to cut a lot of cards out of our deck anyways. And then the Solitary Monk, which also lets us cut out cards. But the Solitary Monk does lead us up to this epic battle. I forget what it's called. I don't actually know what it is, but I'm feeling good about it. I think we can defeat whatever it is, and so I'm going to take that path. So let's head down this way. When the foe plays the first spell of the round, they summon a Dragonling, and then the foe's Dragonlings get +1 attack. I ain't scared of a vicious enemy. We'll get there. We'll get down to it. What do we got? We got a 1-drop that isn't Teemo. I think we'll get rid of everything that isn't the pup. And then if we find a Teemo, great. If we don't, at least our curve is a little bit on track. Interesting, interesting. I didn't think of Teemo generating the spell mana and then letting us play equipment. I think this is going to be pretty cool. Not a bad combo. So I'm going to go with the pup here instead of the Gringley duo. We should be able to get a Teemo flip happening this round. And so we'll drop the Mushroom Cloud in. Attack with everybody. Teemo will get us up to like 18 puff caps on the attack here. There's the flip. Let's see if we get something cool with the Lucky Find. Not really. I don't really want Challenger. I assume Teemo's just not going to be dealing combat. Let's put Overwhelm. Overwhelm's kind of interesting, right? So say opponent plays like a Shadow Assassin or whatever their elusive of choice is in here. If we get to Overwhelm through it, then we still have some potential to... we have some potential to deal that damage and get the strike. So here, definitely going to protect our Teemo, and with the Homecoming in front of the Dragonling, we get to prevent that lifesteal. Feels good to me. Hope it feels good to you. All right, Gringley duo in. Puff Cap Pup, ready for battle. All right, he's doing stuff. He's playing a lot of stuff. I was a little worried, not big worried, but... I think we're good now. So we hit him for 7, take him down to 8. Get a nice set of puff cap doubling in here. He's going to be down to 52 puff caps. Let's see what else we can do. Pick up the 2 health on this one. I don't want our Teemo to die. I think the game should pretty much be over at this point, but you know, no need to let the Yordle fall. Ah, he does have an elusive. I was curious if he was going to actually have elusives coming at us, but the Gringley duo is exactly what we were talking about in terms of wanting some Overwhelm. All right, but looking good. I went with the combat trick in the Heroic Refrain. I felt like we might be doing a little bit of battle here and wanting to get some width. This lets us protect most of our units. Oof. Got a kitty wanting to hang out. I got distracted. We should have put some of this bonus attack onto the Puff Cap Pup instead of Teemo so that we could have killed this Eye of the Dragon. I don't think it's going to matter, but that's what happens. Here he is. He says, "What up? What up, guys? What up, internet?" The biggest distraction of our day. All right, +1/+1 looks good. I don't know what kind of combat tricks opponent has here, but we should be essentially ending the game on this attack. No homecomings, please. Retreat. Okay. So we'll get the massive amount of puff caps with our Teemo hitting, and we can follow up with the Ava Achiever to make them deal doubles. I bet that does it. What is gained when we return malevolence? All right, very defensive Teemo. So how'd we do? 18. Calling my number. 8. It was close. Had an 8 in it. GG. Okay, anything cool here? The 1 mana Twin Disciplines is kind of nice. I don't think we need to be going like full elusive with the Blade Scout. Like if we had to pick between the Blade Scout and the Patrol Wardens, I definitely want the Blade Scout. But with the Twin Disciplines, this gives us a reasonable combat trick for 1 mana. Now coming into the Solitary Monk, we talk about this in all these. I like to cut out some of these mid-rangey kind of dudes like the Chumpwump and the Yordle. I've been happy with cutting out the Chumpwump since the Yordle has the Challenger item attached to him. So that will come out. Into the Silent Shadow Seer. So when a unit dies, you get a random unit in that player's hand +1 attack. Okay. I'm ready, Vicious Enemy. Let's do battle. All right. Well, I'm going to get rid of the Greenglade Duo. If we have to have like one of these units on turn 2, I like the sequences that the Puffcap Pup gives us. He's a little bit more defensive. He can handle attacking on his own on the following turn, to where if we play the Greenglade Duo, it's kind of stuck, right? We're never blocking on turn 2 with the Duo. And then, of course, we want to find our Teemos. Not blocking that guy. Alright, so I think we'll remember what we did the last game. I'm not going to go ahead and equip up the Puffcap Pup. We'll wait and put the equipment on one of our weaker units here. Leaning towards the Puffcap Peddler. And then we can make him nice and defensive. It's kind of lame, dude. Kind of lame dropping Shadow Flares. So we'll have to be a little bit careful here, right? The kind of theme of the event is the units in your hand get the bonus attack whenever something on board dies. So the units in your hand kind of just progressively get bigger and bigger and bigger. So we're going to want to come out with this Conchologist and see if we can't find something like a Wallop that just guaranteed kills any unit coming at us. But here, I'll take this 4. I feel safe enough in the space right now. We got 2 mana. Let's just add the Dancing Droplet. Bank up just a little bit. All right, a Homecoming definitely makes me feel safe. We're not going to lethal this turn. I think this is good. Let's go ahead and attack. We're going to try and control deck him just a little bit. Oh boy, more Shadow Flares. This is not on my radar of things that should be coming at us, but I think we'll be okay from this point forward. It sucks to lose a unit, because I want to be able to like block and Homecoming next turn, but I think we'll have enough mana to do it. Right, we can add a Conchologist and probably play a Homecoming. Steel Tempest, that's perfect. Exactly what I was talking about wanting. Just something to shut down this rando attack that he's going to get from a big collection of units. Momentous Choice looks good. We're doubled up on it at this point. We'll see if he's got another Shadow Flare. I mean, every time we've attacked, he's had a Shadow Flare, so hopefully he's done it too. If we can get this nice chunk of damage in for 8, we get pretty close to killing with Puffcaps. So what's our way to get the most? We've got 28 in the deck. We can either play Ava Achiever, and this will shuffle 6 in. If we hit like 1, we just win, right? I think that's the way to go about it. We also have the insider knowledge that we picked up with the Conchologist to make sure that we would have some card draw. So this is kind of worthless. We shouldn't have spent the mana on the powder kegs, but you know, I saw it. It hurts to just give up that value. And so we didn't let it happen. All right, nice 16 bomb from the Puffcaps, though. Pretty cool. The Vicious Enemy has been bested. Anything good? More Twin Disciplines, I guess? Giving the strongest ally an item. Sure. On to the power. Anything good? Your created cards cost 1 less. That sounds quite nice with all of our conchologists. Into the spells chest. I guess we could upgrade our homecomings to draw a card. Not super exciting, but it is still quite a powerful spell with what our deck is able to do. Now let's cut a card. This is nice to remember. We are about to go into battle with Karma. Karma says at the game start, everyone gets maximum mana crystals. And so it's kind of not awesome to come in and cut all the expensive cards out of your deck right before you go and battle Karma. But I think we're still in like a pretty decent spot here. Even without like a Lecturing Yordle in our deck, these homecomings are going to be really strong. And I think we're getting to have this really nice aggressive deck coming together. So we're going to take the expensive unit out, even though we know we're about to come up to this full mana crystal start game. The other downside, you usually want to have a way to come in and just kill Karma outright. We don't have the tools to do that. We have the homecomings to send her back to hand, but we're never going to have a game where we're just like, LOL, it's a vengeance. I see this Ava Achiever, and I'm like, we can just play this and replay it, get that 6 puff caps in our opposing deck, but that's not going to be good. I wonder if he ever just like comes in and blocks the Achiever. He says, I better throw my Karma in front of this. Let's see. I want to attack with Ahri to the right, though. I do not want Ahri returning the Achiever to our hand. Really did not expect him to block. So, okay. I guess that's one way to do it. So we do lose our Ahri, unfortunately, but the Karma has been taken down. And we hit like a hammer? What did we hit? Speed wrap, so we gave him quick attack. All right. Pretty good spot now. All right. So we shouldn't be taking too much damage here, right? We can definitely just come in, block one dude, and then homecoming another one. So don't have to be in full damage prevent mode here. Let's get a block in with the Ava Achiever. He can still safely attack next turn with his quick attack. And then we should probably just return these adepts. He gets to cheapen up a card in his hand. I think that's okay. Only taking 2 damage. Looks good to me. Looks good to old Bust here. Now Teemo's ready to party. Excellent. Then Teemo will be flipping as soon as we attack. Let's get him. This might be like a little dangerous attacking with the Achiever, right? He gives us so much passive damage with his puff cap doubling thing, but I think we're to the point to where we're probably going to win the game anyways with just a single Teemo hit, and it's not the end of the world if the Achiever falls in combat. Maybe, I don't know. That's awfully aggressive. But I mean, she's got 32, 35 puff caps in deck. Probably won't be a lethal with this one, but we'll be close with the next Teemo hit. Ooh, homecoming was perfect. Perfect. Let us bounce our dancing droplet. Okay. So are we okay with this? Like, maybe we back up the Teemo, but then trade out the Achiever. That's the way we're going to be doing stuff. We want to take down his best unit and the Jeweled Protector. Don't really want it going back to hand. And do one like this. F. It's a pretty good deny. But opponent's out of cards now. So I feel a little bit safer. Ooh, and an achiever? Perfect. Couldn't have asked for a better draw. So we take him down to 6. He's got like 60 puff caps now? 84 puff caps? And then we drew the achiever for the double ups. Feeling pretty safe. We just need to hit 3. It should be hitting about 4. Hit about 8. GG Karma. Good stuff. Alright, so we're taking the Teemos. I'll go with the barrier. It's either the barrier or the Giant's Belt. Maybe the Giant's Belt is better here. It's like, it depends on what you're going to be up against, right? If we're going to play, say, Teemo on our opponent's turn and just block, then we want the barrier. But if we're expecting our opponent to hit Teemo with, like, burn spells, then we want the Giant's Belt. And I could imagine as we're going up against Ezreal, we're going to have to worry about the static shocks and the true shot barrages and stuff. And so let's go with the Giant's Belt on this one to make sure Teemo's ready to eat a Mystic Shot. Okay, following up here, do love Fixer Upper. Give your weakest ally 3/3 this round. This lands on Teemo essentially all of the time. So nice little bonus to add to him. Looking up here, we have either a healer, a spell chest, or an item chest. Let's go towards the items. I feel like we have enough variety in our deck right now. We have the good early game with our curve. We have the good late game with the achievers. We have the good interactivity with the homecomings. We don't really need to dig up a good spell. Going to the item chest will let us just improve what we already have. So into the Blade Twirler. Round start, you stun the player's weakest unit. Not a bad start, but I do want to find me some Teemo. So we'll take the standard line we've been doing. We'll hang on to the Puff Cap Pup, mulligan everything else out, and look for Teemo. Perfect, found him. Get him loaded up with this Malefic Spear. He's gonna be a 6/6 next turn. 6/7 apparently. No blocks from that dum-dum. We picked up a Fearsome. Cool, looks good. Oh, but Teemo gets stunned? Sad day. Sad day. I forgot opponent had that ability. Alright. Well, the droplet's gonna connect. I don't know if he ever decides to trade away his Blade Twirler for the Puff Cap Peddler. Like, in Constructed, probably wouldn't do it, since the Blade Twirler is like his big build-around card here. But in the Path of Champions, you know, who knows what the AI is going to be up to. But I feel a lot better about our chances for success with the Blade Twirler removed. All right, Ari, get in there and block. Somebody has to be ready for combat. Looks like we picked up Challenger on our Puff Cap Pup. All right, we can safely add the Conchologist. Like, if it comes down to it, we can stress defense a blocker so that he can't hit through, so that he can't, you know, block a Fearsome Teemo. Could definitely see arguments for popping Teemos here as well, but this Ari attack, it looked good, thinking that we were going to get to return the Conchologist and get this Nexus Strike for the damage and stuff, but didn't quite play out.
Wild hearts should run free.
We're getting close to the lethal though. Just need a little bit more attack step.
Give me a sweet bun. Heightens the senses. Think it fast? I still have some fire.
Vandal scouts are never afraid.
Alright, so we're going to stress defense our Ari to block the 3-1. He's out of mana at this point, so let's just kind of spew off all of our cards. And then ideally, we'll get the kill next turn with Teemo. So he had 32 puff caps at this point.
Time for a leap of faith.
Alright, there we go. I know I mentioned this in our previous videos, but you want to be attacking with the puff cap pups to the left of your Teemo. So ideally, you'll get these strike plants from the puff cap pups. And then you'll have those additional puff caps in the opposing deck for the Teemo to then double up. So what are we at? 94 puff caps and 8 cards. Pretty good chance we'll just end it as soon as the draw step happens. Gaining health for it. Got him for 10. Good job. Way to go, us.
A Vandal scout leaves no trace.
GG. So what do we got? Dancing droplets with the mana gem attachment? That looks pretty strong. I'm on board with that. So further up here, we're going to go to that item chest. Twin Disciplines giving it a bonus attack is good. Ooh, the Ava Achiever with a -1 cost. That sounds good as well. Into the shop. The power is Frostbite, extremely strong. Other choices here, don't really want Solitary Monks. The Maker could be okay. That's the one to the right, getting us a tempo play. But let's swing for the fences, right? Let's buy this, hold them off. And then let's come out here and just start re-rolling. See if we can't get any really high-powered plays out here. So the Path, a little bit too expensive. Sejuani, too expensive. A 7/7 Masa for 3 is a pretty good deal, but it's not what our deck really needs. Let's keep rolling. We've got to find something impressive. The Maker with Puff Cap help is kind of cute. Maybe that's what we'll take, since we can at least recall Ezreals with this thing. It's kind of on theme, I guess, right? right. And then the Manifest on Sump Fumes is worth a take. I'm just going to put 1 copy. I don't want a ton of Sump Fumes in our deck, but the adding that item to all the ones already in our deck is pretty powerful. All right, none of these remaining cards are on theme. So let's get out of there. Now we can either go to a spell chest or an item chest. Same deal. You know, we like the cards in our deck. Let's go towards that item chest instead of digging for something new. And so, when one of the foe's units is supported, grant it +1/+1. All right, we found that Teemo. I'm going to get rid of the Maker. I mean, I guess she could be decent, right? Against these support decks, the real kind of like strength in the support decks, right, is them having a chain of units, right? Their units are good on the attack and bad on defense, and so if you're ever able to set up these boards to where he says, okay, I play Flower Child on turn 1, and then I'm going to play a... say he wants to play a Young Witch on turn 2, and then if you get to answer one of his units are just garbage at that point, right? You've completely nullified their strategy, and they're only good on the attack. And so I can envision a space to where the Maker is actually quite good here on turn 3, and its ability to bounce their, you know, 1 unit is enough to shut down a support deck. And then here with Teemo into Ari, you don't really want Ari holding the Darkened Lodestone, supporting a +1/+1, and then immediately returning it to hand. So we've got the bonus on our Teemo here. He's ready to party and support the Ari in these matters. But see, this spot, it displays it kind of exactly, right? Where he only has the 1 unit on board. That 1 unit is a pretty terrible attacker. And so we have some opportunity to just shut down his attacks since he can't say, well, I might be trading out my 3-2, but I'm making this other unit, have like +5 attack or whatever it would be. So happy enough with that. And the Maker with the Frostbites, I didn't even stop to consider this when we were deck building, but making a 0 attack unit and then being able to Maker it back, it's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. And the Ahri returning the Makers to our hand so we can continue the shenanigans. That's a pretty nice combo. One must admit, this combo is pretty sweet. We got that overwhelming Ahri now. If you're, I think she might just have it naturally. I wasn't paying enough attention, but that's kind of what you need in Constructed. You play the Absolver onto Ahri, and then she's able to she gets those overwhelm attacks even if your opponent doesn't block. Good stuff. Strong stuff. Well done, team. Okay. Not particularly interested in any of these. The plunder on the Concussive Palm is pretty interesting, given that we have the puff caps, right? So if we hit on a puff cap, we'll have a 1-mana Concussive Palm. I'm going to go with that instead of putting the draw champion onto Sump Fumes. Coming into here, do we want to just continue to stack up the Makers? I really like the combos it's bringing us, so let's get that in our deck. Now we get to go and cut a card. I'm really thinking of just cutting out these Sump Fumes. I like the Concussive Palm. I like the Homecoming. The Achievers and the Makers are good. The Stress defense isn't spectacular in this upcoming match. I could definitely see removing it. And I think since we have like 3 or 4 Twin Disciplines, we probably just don't need the Stress defense. So we'll take that one out. So on to Ezreal. The foe spells cost 1. They get a Static Shock at round start, but if the foe is leveled to champion, they get True Shot Barrage instead. So there's a few different ways to kind of go after this one. You can look to just not play any units until you can spew a bunch of them on the board. Really helps limit the Ezreal level up, or you can just put 1 unit on the board. So when he comes to play his Static Shocks, he does 1 to the unit and 1 to face, and that stops the Ezreal from leveling. But our deck is like not really well designed for this, right? The Teemo's fine. We decided to protect our Teemo from the Static Shocks by giving him the Giant's Belt. But some of our, Conchologist and Greenglade Duo units are a little bit weak to this strategy. We do have the Cutlass, though. I'm going to try and drop the Duo and see if we can't get it a boost. Costs 0. It's not like we have something to lose with this, right? If we're playing Constructed, we would have to worry about the removal spells coming in and making us spend extra mana, but with it costing 0, it's a pretty free play. I'm going to leave it in hand, though. I want to try and load Conchologist now. I think we're in a pretty good spot, though. Ezreal comes in. I'm ready to block that dum-dum. Teemo is here primed and ready to block an Ezreal.
Astounding curiosities lie ahead.
Okay. And then I took the Sumpworks map. I was intending to just put it onto the Ava Achiever. He's not going to want to block with his Ezreal, and so getting our, kind of landmark unit into combat feels nice. See what kind of scary stuff he's going to bring at us with this Funsmith, though. Not a huge fan of these Static Shocks with the Funsmith on board, but he's going to be blocking with his best unit at this point. I'm certainly on board with those happenings. What do we got him to? 22 puff caps and 30 in the deck? Not amazing, but not terrible. All right, we get the droplet on board, give him a little bit of protection. Looks like we're going to get to drop everything this turn. Puffcat Peddler in.
You right about it.
That's a Static Shock. Not real worried about it. Draw the cards. And then he no attacks? Beautiful. I think we're pretty much done here.
Always brave.
Obstacle, meat gauntlet.
Mystic Shot onto Dude. He takes 4. Kind of interested in seeing if he'll just like spend the mana to return or to replay Ezreal, but this is fine.
No way. Whoa, got room for 2? Not sure I have room for 1.
All right, let's just play some stuff, get some spells out of our hand.
There they go.
See if these additional puff caps won't hit for 1. We just need 1, right? That's all it takes at this point. Got 56 in his 28 cards. See if Ezreal's squeezing him. That was an animation. We got it. Barely got it. GG. And so good stuff. Good stuff. Not a bad set of battles. We're starting to see these branch out a little bit to where, you know, in the first set of, you know, 1.5 and half-star battles and everything, you tend to just like aggro and go completely face. But here you get to see how the games are starting to drag on a little bit more. And so it's going to be more and more important for us to, you know, say, hey, I'm not just this rando aggro deck, and I'm more of a puff cap combo deck. And so we're not going to be cutting these Ava achievers out. We're definitely going to need to hang on to them. And we're going to have to start asking ourselves the questions, you know, how do we keep our Teemo alive and get him into combat and getting those Nexus strikes in? And so it's nice to see it kind of like slow down just a little bit, but I think our strategies are still fairly on point up to this point. We want to cut those 4-cost cards out of our deck. We want some early game stuff to do, and then we want to maximize this Teemo to where we're getting some spells that can immediately be cast with that generated spell mana from the Lost Chapters. And so, not a bad set of battles. I had fun. I hope you had fun too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.